Welcome back to my channel. I am back with another Baddies Africa reunion review. So let's just get right into it because so much happened in part 2 of the Baddies Africa reunion. Now, part 2 of the Baddies Africa reunion picks up where the last one left off, where Cold Killer and Elsie start fighting, and obviously Cold Killer ended up winning that fight. She was fighting a lot better at this reunion than she did the entire season, but obviously we knew that she was going to end up winning the fight against Elsie because Elsie really cannot fight. But she ended up getting Elsie onto the floor, and Elsie was just laying there afterwards, and she had to get walked out by security because something went wrong. And you know, Saucy Santana was saying that Elsie was faking, but Elsie did clarify, and she got into the comment section and she said that she actually ended up hitting her head on the tiles on the floor while she was in the middle of the fight with Cold Killer. So I'm gonna give that win to Cold Killer. I felt like they wasted a little bit too much time on the crowd singing Cold Killer's song and then singing Diamond the Body's song. It's just that when it's the reunions, I like to just get to the situations that's supposed to be unfolding at the reunion rather than spending too much time focusing on the audience, which when you look at Fauna, they kind of focused a little bit on Fauna being completely oiled up. She said that she did not want to get any marks on her face. And listen, I don't blame her because this season people were definitely marked up. People had swollen eyes, swollen faces, busted lips, messed up noses, like knots all over their face. So I completely understand why she oiled herself up like that. Tommy did ask if they're supposed to be the new big three, and they said that they were not the new big three, they're the pretty three or the new three, and the fans were cheering them and booing Dolly, Summer, and Lex because obviously we know the fans are biased, and all you have to do to get the fan favorite every season is to beef with Dolly, Summer, and Lex. The minute you have beef with them, the fans will automatically end up liking you and cheering for you because they don't like them, which to me, it's kind of fake to me, and I don't like people that act that way because that means you're the type of person who does the enemy of my enemy is my friend. So if me and you don't like the same person, that means we're cool with each other and I love you because we both hate them. I don't like that. To me, that's fake and phony. Even if you don't like Dolly, Summer, and Lex, that doesn't mean you can't say they won a fight if they won the fight. That doesn't mean you can't say they were in the right at a certain time and that the other person was in the wrong just because you don't like them. So to me, the fans sometimes make this show unenjoyable to watch because of all the biasness. Now, Bobby is a troublemaker, okay? Because he was saying that the fans in the audience were whispering about Anna needing to fight Cold Killer because apparently Anna was talking shit to Cold Killer on social media, but Anna was acting like she was confused as to what people were talking about because she claims she doesn't have any beef with Cold Killer, but Cold Killer seemed to have a different story. Now, Anna did say that she didn't care about the song situation that was going around because we know that Cold Killer kept going on and on about Diamond the Body and Tinkerbella taking her song, and she was tired of that being a storyline, which a lot of people were tired of it, but because Anna was a part of the show and a part of that season, Cold Killer obviously took it some type of way, which I think that's a stupid reason for them to beef, so I don't think they should be beefing about that. But Cold Killer then mentioned that Anna got involved in her beef with Marissa that they were having back and forth on social media, and because Anna is friends with Marissa outside of the show, she basically said on social media that she has Marissa's back, and Cold Killer obviously took that like Anna wanted some smoke with her, so the two of them started going back and forth with that. But it was clear that Anna did not want to fight Cold Killer, not because I feel like she was scared of Cold Killer, but because she didn't want to have beef with her because she felt like there wasn't really a reason for them to. And I also feel like she didn't want to beef with anybody that the big three were beefing with because the fans will turn on you really quickly. So I feel like that's part of the reason why she did not want to fight Cold Killer. But Saucy Santana ended up asking, you know, Anna if she was going to get in the paint and help Marissa because he said he felt like as soon as Marissa came on stage and started fighting Cold Killer, that Fauna and K. Rican were going to end up jumping in and Marissa was going to get jumped. But Anna said that she didn't feel like Marissa was going to get jumped. Now, Marissa ends up getting brought on stage, and as soon as she comes on stage, her and Cold Killer start fighting with each other. And I'm sorry, Marissa definitely won that first fight. She was definitely getting Cold Killer, and Cold Killer was fighting too sloppy, and Marissa was able to take over that fight. So she definitely won the first round. And Anna was over there, and she told K. Rican not to get involved. So I definitely do think that if K. Rican or Fauna would have jumped in the fight between Marissa and Cold Killer, I do think that Anna would have jumped in and got involved to make sure that Marissa wasn't fighting on her own. I definitely think she would have had that would have been the case. Now, the second round between Cold Killer and Marissa, they were fighting as a tie at the beginning. It looked like, you know, Marissa was kind of getting Cold Killer, but once they fell on the floor, Cold Killer ended up winning the fight because she was able to hold Marissa down and take over. So I definitely feel like the second round, I feel like Cold Killer won it, but I only feel like she won it because they fell on the floor. I feel like if they would have stayed standing up, I definitely think Marissa would have won that. Now, Saucy Santana and Janisha are trying to figure out why Marissa and Cold Killer are beefing now at the reunion when they seem to be fine with each other all season. And Marissa basically said that Cold Killer is mad at her because she was messing with her baby daddy. And look, if that was your baby daddy and you guys were broken up and he moved on and got with Marissa, I don't understand why Cold Killer has a problem with Marissa. Like, if your baby daddy is playing in your face, saying one thing to you and saying another thing to another woman, why are you mad at the other woman and not mad at your man? Like, Cold Killer was saying things like she was with him for 9 years and Marissa was just new meat. And Marissa said that she was dating him while she was filming the show, but then they left each other after the show was over with and he went back to Cold Killer. And Cold Killer was kind of bragging about that, making it seem like that was a good thing. And it's like, girl, no, you shouldn't have ever even gave him access to your body ever again. Like, yeah, co-parent with him because you guys have a child together, but being back together with him when he played in your face and Marissa's face, to me, makes her look stupid because she's back with him again. Now, if Marissa cut him off and she's completely done with him, I feel like she did the right thing and she doesn't look stupid in the situation anymore. But Cold Killer, if she's still dealing with him on that level in a romantic type of way, I feel like she's stupid. And I'm sorry, the audience was cheering for Cold Killer in that back and forth like she was in the right and Marissa was in the wrong. No, Cold Killer looks stupid and the crowd who was cheering it on looks stupid too, because that means they have the same mentality that Cold Killer has, which is crazy. And then Cold Killer tried to say that Marissa booked herself for a, club appearance in her city, and she feels like Marissa did that on purpose so that she would show up to the club appearance and attack her or do something that'll get her put in jail. And it's like, girl, Marissa does not have the ability to make you crash out like that and show up to a club appearance that she's at, because you didn't have to show up. You had the choice to not show up to where she was at and crash out. And why are you crashing out because she was sleeping with a guy that you have a baby with? That's stupid anyway. Like, I just feel like she was trying to make it seem like Marissa was trying to bait her into doing something that would get her put in jail, even though that's up to her to make sure she doesn't do something that'll get her put in jail. So to me, what Cold Killer was saying did not make any sense. But then they end up bringing Tavy out on stage and the fans are cheering her and she's soaking up all the love that she's getting from the other baddies and from the audience. And I think it's crazy that she's soaking up that love, because the only reason why she's getting that love is because she was beefing with Dolly and Lex. If she was not beefing with Lex and Dolly, she wouldn't have gotten that love. The fans still wouldn't have liked her, just like they didn't like her from the moment that she got casted for the show. And I'm not trying to take her moment from her by saying that she shouldn't soak up the love that she's getting from the fans, but the reason why I'm saying that she shouldn't is because as quickly as they love you, they're going to turn on you next season, because she's probably not going to be beefing with Lex, Dolly, and Summer next season. She's probably going to be beefing with other people, probably people that some of the fans like, and they're going to immediately turn on her because they never really liked her to begin with. They only liked her because she was beefing with the big three, and if you beef with the big three, the fans will like you for a little while, but then when you turn your beef onto somebody that they actually like, then they're going to have an issue with you. Now, Saucy Santana did ask Tavy if she feels like her and Ivory need to fight, and she did say, yeah, they probably do need to fight, but Ivory was not there to defend herself, so I'm actually kind of surprised that they even brought this up. I wish Ivory was there, because if she was there, I don't think that Tavy would have been saying a lot of the stuff that she was saying. She said that she was not afraid of Ivory, and that when Ivory was grabbing her by her neck, putting her in a headlock in the middle of her fights, she didn't feel like Ivory was meaning any harm. She felt like Ivory was just trying to hold her back and break up the fights, and she said that she didn't even really notice that Ivory was putting her in a headlock, but then she admits that one of the times that Ivory put her in the headlock, she turned around and told Ivory not to grab her anymore. So how did you not know that she was doing that and you weren't aware of it, but then you turned around and told her to stop? It's giving that Tavy's only talking shit because Ivory was not there to defend herself. I think if Ivory was there, she would have been having a different tune. That's just my opinion. I don't know that for sure, but I know that during the season, when Ivory grabbed her up by her neck multiple times, had her on the floor and everything, choking her ass out when she was in the middle of a fight with somebody else, she didn't do anything about it. And I honestly do feel like if that was somebody else that grabbed up on Tavy like that, I think she would have swung on them, but because it was Ivory, she didn't do it. They do end up playing the fight between Scotty and Lex, and basically they were asking Scotty how she felt about it, and she was saying that she thought the fighting was ghetto and she doesn't like to see it, and Saucy Santana looked at her kind of weird and told her, this is Baddies. Like, if you don't like fighting and you don't want to fight, you shouldn't be on Baddies. I'm sorry, because people keep saying that the show lost the plot. The plot was never about anything. They were just going from city to city, doing club appearances and staying in a house together, and you know that fights are going to happen. Nobody was watching this show when they didn't have any fighting. Like the first season, Baddies ATL, there really wasn't any fighting going on, so that season was not popular. People didn't really start subscribing to Zeus on high levels until Krishan fought Persuasion in that sink. After she fought Sway in the sink, that's when everybody decided said that they were going to start watching the show because they started getting entertained by all the fighting that was going on. So if Scotty doesn't like fighting and she doesn't want to have to fight and she thinks it's ghetto, why are you still on a show where there's a lot of fighting going on? I just feel like she shouldn't be there. Then they end up showing the fight between Tavy and Big Lex, and they only showed one of the fights between the two of them. And look, everybody's mouth was kind of on the floor a little bit because when you're watching it again, you see how much Lex really whooped Tavy. Now, I think you can give her props for getting in the paint with Lex and not being scared to, but she got whooped every time she fought Lex. I'm sorry. I don't know who's telling her that she was tied with Lex or that, you know, she gave Lex a run for her money. She did not. Lex definitely beat her throughout this season. I'm sorry. And when Janisha and, you know, Saucy Santana were talking about the big three because they were getting ready to bring them on stage, the crowd was booing them and didn't like them. And, you know, Saucy Santana and Janisha were kind of confused because they're like, okay, you guys don't like them, but the season would have been completely boring if they were not there. Like last season and this season would have been completely boring if they were not there because there would have been no entertainment. Like, go rewatch Baddies Africa and then take out all the scenes with Dolly, Summer, and Lex in it, including the fights that they were involved in, and see what you get for a season. I mean, the season would have been a complete flop if they were not there. So whether you like them or not, they gave you the entertainment that you wanted. So Dolly, Summer, and Lex end up coming out on stage and everybody's getting up trying to prepare themselves because they know they're all going to have to fight. And as soon as they come on stage, the big three get booed out of the building because obviously the audience does not like them, which I don't feel like the audience should be there anyway, but that's besides the point. But as soon as they get on stage, Lex is walking up on them and Tavy just tries to run up on her and the two of them start fighting and it looks like Lex is giving it to Tavy, but then everybody else jumps in. Like Fauna jumps in. I think K. Rican jumped in. It looked like Anna jumped in too. I don't know if she was trying to hit somebody else, but it looked like she jumped in. So Lex definitely got jumped, but they didn't take her down in the jumping. Like it was like the jumping didn't really faze her. So after the jumping was broken up, Lex runs like a bat out of hell and she snatches up Fauna really quickly and she's holding on to her head and she's hitting her and Fauna is trying to swing, but Lex definitely was overpowering her, so she wasn't really able to do much. But then Lex and Fauna fight again and Lex kind of had her on the couch and was kind of like pulling her across the couch a little bit. Like she was definitely whooping her on the couch. Fauna definitely did fight back, but to me she did not win and I slowed that fight down as well. I slow all the fights down. She didn't win that fight, but she tried. But then Cold Killer and Summer start fighting with each other and I think Cold Killer thought that because she won the fight with Elsie that she was going to win the fight against Summer, and that did not end up happening. Summer actually ended up winning that fight, which I wasn't surprised about because Summer got a lot better at fighting during Baddies Africa. But then when that fight was broken up, Summer came out of nowhere and she leaps over the couch and she snatches up Marissa really quickly. Now look, they did not get to fight with each other, but she did snatch her up really quickly before she got snatched up by security. And Anna tried to run over there and fight Summer because obviously Marissa's her friend and she didn't like that Summer tried to sneak her, even though Anna sneaks people and her friends sneak people and jump people, but she has a problem when it's other people doing it. But then Anna and Summer do fight with each other and I thought it was kind of a tie because they were both swinging on each other at the same speed and I saw both of them connect at least one or two hits on each other. So to me, that fight was a tie and I slowed it down. If you watch it in regular speed, you'll think that somebody won who didn't, but to me, it was a tie. Now, Dolly said that she was tired of all the jumping shit. She just wanted to get her fair ones with everybody that she wants to fight. And so her and Pretty P start fighting with each other. And I think she was surprised that Pretty P got her the way that she did because Pretty P definitely won that fight with Dolly. I don't think that Dolly expected Pretty P to start swinging that fast at her, but Pretty P came in pretty quickly and she was coming from the shoulders. So she definitely won that fight with Dolly. Dolly wasn't even really able to do anything with her. And she definitely had like a really big knot on her forehead. And they said that something was wrong with her eye. They said that her eye was cut. I don't know if it was cut in the fight with Pretty P, or I think I heard Saucy Santana and Janisha saying that when they initially came out on stage and everybody was fighting, that's where she got cut. So I really don't know. But then Lex and Tavy get to fighting with each other. And at first it's kind of a slow fight. They're not really doing anything. But then Lex snatches up Tavy and she's catching her in the face. Like she's holding on to her and catching her. And Tavy ends up biting Lex underneath her arm. Like you can see the bite mark underneath Lex's arm because that's the way that Tavy ended up getting Lex to let go of her, was by biting her, which I don't like that because they made a big deal about biting last season and then they allowed it to happen at the reunion and nobody ever addressed it. So I do think that that was lame that she bit her just to get her off of her. But Lex got that eye again. She got Tavy right in her eye again because Tavy was sitting there and her eye was shut. Like her eye was definitely shut. So that's probably why she bit Lex, because Lex was catching her in the face. K-Rican tries to call Summer out for a fight, but Summer's standing up on the couch telling her that she doesn't want to fight her because she just got her boobs done. And look, I don't feel like Summer owed, K-Rican a fade, because at the end of the day, the last fight that her and, K-Rican had at the end of the season in the final episode, Summer didn't even fight back, and K-Rican finally was able to win a fight for the first time in the entire season because, Summer didn't fight back. So I just feel like Summer already whooped K-Rican multiple times this season. I don't feel like she needed to fight her again at the reunion. And then it's like the fans were booing Summer for not wanting to fight, but they did not boo Anna when she didn't want to fight Cole Killer, and they also did not boo, Scotty when Scotty doesn't want to get up and fight. They say, oh, she doesn't have to fight, she doesn't have to fight, but then when Summer's saying she doesn't want to have to fight, then she gets booed for it. So I don't really get that, but people don't like Summer, so obviously they're gonna boo her for every little thing that she does. Then Cole Killer starts calling Summer scary because I guess Summer had a booking in, Cole Killer City, and Summer ended up not going, and she feels like Summer was scared to go because she didn't know what was gonna happen to her when she went. And I feel like if that's the reason why Summer didn't go, then she was well within her rights not to go, because why would you go somewhere where you're gonna get hands and feet put on you by people you don't even know? You don't even know what weapons they might have on them or anything like that. Like, I feel like these girls need to stop taking the beef that they have on the show where there's cameras and security around to the outside world. I don't think that they should be doing that, because one day somebody's really gonna end up getting hurt because of something like that. So if that's the reason Summer did not go to that booking, I feel like she did the right thing. But then Natalie finally ends up coming out on stage, and she has a cap on and she's wearing shorts and sneakers. Like, she came out like she knew that she was gonna have to fight, because obviously there's, Rolly and Diamond the Body who don't like her, and she knows that Diamond the Body sneaks her basically every single reunion. So that's the reason why she came out prepared to fight. Now, she did say something that was true. She said that the reunion was boring until the big three came on stage, and that is true. The reunion was kind of boring until the big three came on stage and shook things up a bit. But Natalie ends up calling both Rolly and Diamond her fans, and she tells Rolly that they can hash things out later, or they can hash things out on the next season of Baddies, but her focus is on Diamond because Diamond has been coming at her every single season of the show. And she's calling out Diamond on the microphone, and she takes the microphone and she chucks it at Diamond. Luckily she missed, because if that would have hit Diamond, she would have had a black eye or a busted lip or something, because Natalie chucked that shit really hard. Then Natalie hops over the couch and runs at Diamond, and she kind of pushes her into the back wall, and she's catching her. I'm sorry, I know y'all don't like Natalie, but she was winning that fight against Diamond. Even with Tavy over there trying to break it up, Natalie was still winning that fight, and I slowed it down. So to me, Natalie was definitely getting Diamond. Maybe it's because she caught Diamond off guard, like Diamond wasn't able to prepare herself for that fight, but Natalie definitely was getting her, whether you like Natalie or not. So I guess we can say that part 2 of the Baddies Africa reunion was better than part 1, because the big three came out and shook things up. Natalie came out and shook things up. So I'll definitely be reviewing the final part of the Baddies Africa reunion next week. So let me know what you guys thought about this episode down in the comment section, and I'll talk to you guys in my next video.